Hi, I'm Najeen Iftikhar and I teach O&A level art at a local school. And I've been painting for some time now and I'm an interior designer. But this is something I've been thinking of doing since a long time now. Okay, so while painting with acrylics, the problem is that they get dried very easily and very quickly. So to keep them wet for a longer time, what you do is you take a piece of cloth, put it on your palette and wet it with some water. So just don't drench it. You should have enough water to keep the cloth wet, not damp, but wet. Then you take your paint out onto the wet cloth and then you mix it up a bit. If you don't mix it up, it'll make a hard coat on the surface and you don't want that because you're actually trying to keep it wet for a longer time. If there's extra water, you just take it, just dab it off with another cloth. And then you can mix it, but don't put too much water. Otherwise, the paint will just start seeping into the rest of the fabric. Okay, so in acrylic paints, what happens is that whenever you're painting, too many lines show. So how do you get a smooth texture for the background? What you do is you do one light coat with some diluted paint and then do a second coat once the undercoat is dry. The video will of course help because it's quite a long video, and you can also go to the settings and fasten it a bit, so increase the speed so it doesn't get like annoying, because there's no music in the background, because if you put music in the background, YouTube flags it and you get copyright issues, so I had to remove that. All right, so after that, after you've done 2 coats, I got a little bored with my, just the solid background and stuff. So what I thought about was then that I'd put some salt effect. So what you do is keep a spray bottle, a water spray bottle, and spray it. Spray your paint, dilute it a bit, and then sprinkle some salt over it. I've done that a few times, and then you have to wait for the salt effect to dry. So you can see it's quite a process because the piece was like larger than A3, and I was making these kusas, which are local slippers from the country I belong to, Pakistan. And I'm from Lahore, which is the cultural hub of Pakistan actually. And this is for a school board that I had to make, so it's an original piece. And as you can see, I'm covering the background, and towards the end of the video you will see the salt effect. Once the salt effect is done and the paint is dry and there's nothing wet on the surface anymore, you have to rub the salt off. If you don't rub the salt off, what happens is it takes the moisture from the atmosphere and you'll have a wet painting again. Just the salt actually, not the paint, but just the salt. It'll get wet. So you have to rub it off once you're done. I hope you enjoy the video. Just watch the video to understand how acrylics work. Lots of times they get really annoying because the paint keeps drying up. As you can see, for the 12 minutes, my paints did not dry up because the paints are wet from underneath. And then you've put some water on top as well, and you've mixed it up and made a creamy texture. And then it's really easy to keep them wet I've kept them wet for like 3 hours, which I thought was amazing. Although I did take one of the palettes on the side, which was the cover of a takeaway ice cream cup, and I covered it. And then I went to the gym, which was so cool. I was fascinated when I came back and it was really wet. I used the paint again. All right, hope you enjoy this, and I'll be putting on more videos, probably getting better at it eventually. Thank you for watching.